Hey, so I just wanted to check in with you guys to make sure that you're doing okay, that you are supporting yourself in all the ways you possibly can right now. We have some pretty significant space weather brewing right now. We have a M6 solar flare that's just showing up on the charts now. Now, again, I feel like when it shows up on the charts, many of us can feel it brewing or coming before then. So it's not just like, a switch goes on and then there's the energy. It's like this gradual build up, like a percolation of energy that comes up, and then we then see it on the charts and go, oh, okay, so that's why I didn't sleep. That's why my nervous system feels like it's going crazy. That's why I'm getting a headache, or I'm getting a migraine, or my back is hurt, right? We see that show up. There's that validation in the charts. So it's kind of good that they do give us that validation, right? So we can see it in the charts and be like, yeah, you know what? I was already feeling that, and now I understand it. I just wanted to share something with you guys that Spirit's just kind of showing me right now, which is kind of further validation. And maybe some of you need to do a little bit more support in this way. Maybe it's a way that you don't normally support yourself, but maybe this will be something that will show you, Spirit's just saying, some significant changes when you're trying to support yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so what they're showing me is that they're calling it the pathogen effect. They've never used that wording before. But so it's the idea that we all have pathogens in these human vehicles, right? These human vehicles, because they're dense vibrationally, they tend to attract density, right? It's the whole resonance thing. And so we do have pathogens. We have parasites, we have viruses, we have bad bacteria, we have heavy metals, we have chemicals, we have all of this stuff. Remember, it's all frequency. So we exchange frequency all the time. And so some of us carry more frequency, carry more density based on our kind of like base frequency. And your base frequency is based on your this particular incarnation. If you happen to be a soul that came into dysfunction, trauma, neglect, abuse, all of that, there's more density in you, right? You guys follow me along so far? I love the way Spirit does this. They go so fast that it's like, I get it because they give it to me in a download, but in order to give it to you guys, I have to break it apart so it makes sense. So I hope you're following along. So again, it's the like attracts like, and that's actually a law on this planet. It's one of the governing laws on this particular planet. So we all have these, the Spirit's calling it the pathogen effect. We all have these pathogens in our body, and there are certain things that activate these pathogens. Remember, these pathogens are not just, when you think about things, you have to think about things as actual beings, like everything, a being. And especially when we talk about pathogens, because they are looking for hosts, we are the host. They're looking for homes, we are the home. They're looking for food and shelter, we are the food and the shelter. They're coming in there and they're thriving off of our energy, off of our frequency, right? And so this is one of the reasons why when we're getting all of this big energy coming in, when we're having these big light activations happen, which has been happening almost nonstop overnight for the last a couple of weeks, I'm going to say, like without a break. When we're having all of these light activations coming in, so meaning we are getting light energy, so healing frequencies, good frequencies, right? From the light, from light source, from creator, from God. When these are coming in, it's like an upgrade to our DNA. And what happens is it unsettles the pathogens, right? It's kind of like, imagine if you were living in a house or you were renting a house, because it's not even yours, right? Because they don't own it. They're just renting off of us. Imagine you were renting a house and then all of a sudden the landlord comes in and he decides he's going to put a fresh coat of paint on everything. It would disturb you quite a bit, right? And so what's happening is all of these pathogens are getting disturbed when the light comes in, and they don't like that. And because they like to just do what they do, and that's just feed and rest, feed. It's just a cycle, right? They go on that cycle. That's why we feel their cycles sometimes when there's like way too much of it in our human vehicle. And so what's happening right now is these pathogens, because the light's coming in, they're becoming activated. So let me know in the comments if you're experiencing this right now, because a lot of us are having like flares. I call them a viral flare because, and it can show up differently. Like you'd be surprised. It could show up in like you get a cold sore. It could show up when your face breaks out. It could show up and you have digestive problems. You know, all of that. Maybe your bowel movements are changing. It can definitely show up in aches and pains, headaches, you know, pain in the body, in the back, in the knees, in the hips, joint pain. It can show up in all of that because they live in those crevices. They literally live in those parts of the body. It can also show up though, emotionally, right? In your mind. It can show up with anxiety, with depression, because depending on where they are in abundance in your body, whether it's in your brain, whether it's your nervous system, your vagus nerves, wherever they happen to like in your body, and they will tend to, you know, be in abundance in the parts of your human vehicle that are your weakest parts, right? So if you are somebody who has a very active mind, you're somebody who worries a lot, you think a lot, you know, all of that, you're like in your head a lot, it will affect the upper part of your body, right? Even to the point where it'll affect your vision. Maybe your eyes are not doing what they need to be doing. Maybe you're getting headaches from reading, right? Makes sense, because remember, these pathogens are living, breathing, experiencing, and they drain our energy, right? So this is why so many of us right now are just feeling exhausted. Like, do you notice, let me know in the comments, do you notice if you just do a little bit of stuff, then you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And you look at the end of the day and you're like, okay, I just took care of like what I needed to do, but I'm like so tired. I'm like so tired. And then you're so tired, but you have the tired and wired. So you're not able to fully relax because for whatever reason, they're not giving us a lot of breaks in between the downloads and the upgrades. So that acclimation time is like, you know, supposed to be the rest. We go into deep sleep so that our body can heal and acclimate to these energies. But we're not getting that break. We're like getting the, let me know in the comments if you were like between 2 o'clock and like 5 o'clock in the morning being like, oh my God, why am I up? Why am I awake? Why am I awake during this time? I have had so many times where, you know, the last little while where I am like, and normally I can sleep like crazy. I'm an awesome sleeper, but I've had like times where I like come back to bed and I'm like, okay, brain, thank you for the conversation. Thanks for all of the stuff, but we're going back to sleep now. It's not time to think about that stuff. It's time to go back to sleep. And that's what you have to do. You will notice if you have that kind of conversation with your brain, right? As like you were talking to a child that needs some like understanding. I hear you. I see you. I feel you. But let's just go back to sleep. Let's go back to sleep, right? If you do that, you will find there's more cooperation. There's more the brain being like, oh, okay, there's no problem here. I don't have to worry about anything. She thinks it's okay. Go back to sleep. Let's go back to sleep. But if you do the opposite of like, oh my God, why are you not going back to sleep? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with my brain? Why blah, blah, blah. If you do that, you are just setting off the alarm system in your body, which then activates your nervous system, which then is not going to allow you to sleep, and which is then going to make you feel worse when you're wired and tired. Yeah. Isn't it? We are complicated beings, are we not? Are we not like multifaceted, multidimensional? Yeah, so much for us to learn how to navigate through this, right? You got to learn about your human vehicle. You got to learn about your spiritual vehicle. You got to learn about your astral, all of it. It's lots. I know, guys, it's lots. Take today and just kind of do something that brings you joy. Do something that brings you comfort. Do something that allows you to just chill out for a bit. I'm going to grab a book and wait till I have to do my next thing and chill out for a little bit. Sending you guys blessings.